So hello everyone, welcome back to the Livedocs University series, and today we're going to talk about SQL. So what is SQL and why is it important and why do we have to learn it? The first, SQL is called Structured Query Language. It's a way to retrieve the data, because for example, if you store the data in database and then you have how are you going to retrieve the data? And then SQL, it's one of the way to solve that. For example, we have an Excel sheet, and I'm pretty sure you have used Excel sheets before, and the concept of SQL, it's kind of similar to how Excel sheets works. The columns, the rows, and the data, and then to format, to join, to order, the structures, ascending, descending, everything is kind of the same. If you have used Excel before, I'm sure you will know how to use SQL. So there are different types of SQL you can use. For example, this is the Postgres, MySQL, and then SQL Server, and also the SQL from Oracle. And here's an example of a SQL schema. We have an e-commerce store, and we have to store the data, obviously. To run an e-commerce store, what data are you going to store and what data are you going to have? You need to collect users' data about the name, the last name, the address, the email, maybe the order, the purchasing preference, the date of birth, to get to know more who's your customers. Apart from that, you have stored the data for your products. What's the product name, the descriptions, and the price of the products, and then maybe where is the product came from, and then what's the shipment, where is it, when is the expiry date. Obviously, you need to store your orders data. Who is the one that purchasing this order, and how much did they pay for it, how much they owed you, and those kind of thing. And then everything can be drafted out. The whole idea can be drafted out this way. SQL is kind of the same as an Excel sheet. So here you will see this is the database name, which is the books table. This is the table, okay, it's also a database, and the name of this database is called books. And we have different columns to store the information of books. We have the title, we have the author, we have the publisher, we have the pages, and then launch date. We have the data here, which is the first book would be The Edge of Madness, and then the author would be Michael Dobbs, and then publishers from Pocket, 432 pages, and then the launch date. And then next books we have The White Knife, same thing, Mrs. Dalloway, and then the author. So you can see this is how you store data on Excel. And if you want to plot into a schema, you can say this is the books, and then this is the title, this is the author, the pages, the launch date, or whatever you wanted to put there. How do you write an SQL query to query the data from a database? So first, to select the data, the most fundamentals one, you need to learn how to select data from database. So this is how you write it. Select column name, which is the column name from which database, from books. For example, I'm going to select a data from books, and this is how I write it. Select what it basically means, what do you want to see, which column do you want to see, maybe the title column, the author column, this column, or any column, and then from which table. Once you query everything, it's rarely that we want to have all data. We always want to have some specific data that we want. But for example, to fetch this data from this order, from this book, to have a look on the pages of this book, there's more filter on it. And how we do that, it's called select, and what to select from which database, where. So this is how you write. Select the column, select name from the table, and where publish equals to publisher. So basically it's select which column from which table, and then where means an extra filter. I want to select this book from this table where the name is something like that, and this is how you do it. And next we have more filter. We can add more filter on it. You might want to say okay, so I want to select this book from this database where the pages is this, and also the launch date is. You can add more condition by having an and in the end. You can add an or you can add an or on it. what's the difference between the and or? So basically the difference between and or is it's you must meet the conditions, but or is like it depends, you don't have to meet the conditions, but if there is this condition, then we take it into an account. And after that, we wanted to insert data. We want to add more data to database, and this is how you do it. Insert into which database. The values will be what values is that. And for the book example, as you can see, we have these columns, and we want to insert a new book. We will say insert into books, and then the value is firstly the title. What's the title? And then the author. Who is the author? And then the publisher, the number of pages, and also the launch date. So you need to have all the data ready here, from title, author, publisher, pages, and launch date. You cannot just add like, I want to add a new book and the name is this, without providing all the information. It's the same as like for Excel sheets. You need to have all the information ready in order to make it a complete data set. And then of course you need to update the data. So how do you update it? And this is a command: update which database, set where conditions. To turn it into English, it's like update which database and set the value into this where the title is The Hobbit. For example, I added a new table here and I want to update the launch date of this row of data. So I would say update books, set the launch date to this where the book's title is The Hobbit. So that's how you update data. And then finally, we need to delete the data. So how we do it, it's very simple. Delete from which database where condition is. For example, you want to delete the book's title names The Hobbit. You will say delete from books where the title is Hobbit. And if you wanted to view more examples, we have a notebook that's dedicated to learning SQL Basic. Just check it out on the link. And that's for the first week. We will see you in the next week where we will learn more about machine learning algorithms and stuff. So stay tuned.